Thank you. Good morning. Please be seated. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. How are you doing today? How are you doing today? Okay, it looks like some people are not with us. Let me be sure everyone is here. How are you doing today? All right, so I'd like you to please give me your attention for the next few minutes that I'm going to spend with you. I promise I won't waste too much of your time, but I really need you to give me your attention. Do I have a promise? Do I have a promise? All right. So, first of all, let me start by saying a very big thank you to the school authority and everyone who has been a part of this. And I can't take for granted the opportunity to come and address you. So today, please, can I have perfect silence so that I'm not struggling with you while I speak? Thank you. That's better. Because that's the only way you can glean anything out of what I'm about to say. So a while back, just a little over 20 years ago, I was in your category as a student as well. And I can tell you that being a student was a very fantastic opportunity for me to be where I am today. Today, I'm on television almost every time. I do quite a number of things. I published 13 books and I get to speak regularly. But how did I even get to this point where I'm on television from time to time? I get invitations to speak. I train people who work for government. I train people who are in the banking industry, where talk about all the major banks that you can think about. I train some of their staff. One of the things that got me to this point, first of all, was reading. If you start reading and if you cultivate the habit of reading, you'll become a better person than the average contemporary that you have around you. If you don't have the habit of reading, there is no way you can be better than your contemporaries. You know, you may have heard before that a one-eyed man in the land of the blind, he's who? Is a king of the blind. So if you read, the first and the most important thing is that you have more information than every other person who refuses to read. Just think about your examination. Now, let me quickly ask every one of you a question. When you think about your examination, who often passes the most when you have conducted your examination? Is it the person who just flips through the books, or the person who has spent enough time reading all the courses that you have taken? Who passes the most? The person who has read, isn't it? If you have read very well, just like you know in your examination you pass, it's almost the same in life. When you take your time to read, you become a better person. I wish I would have more silence so that I can be sure you are really listening. Thank you. Please, let's keep it this way. So, in addition to having more information, reading improves your vocabulary. When I was in secondary school, we used to have something they called extensive reading. And the idea of extensive reading was that each student was to read a new book almost on a weekly basis. Now, what we did after reading each new book is that we'll pick a brand new notebook and we'll take as you're reading, you underline the new words that you're seeing in the book. New words represent words we've never heard before, or words that we didn't know their meanings. So at the end of the day, if you read a 200-page book, by the time you're done, you would have taken maybe 100 new words, or even more than that. One of the things that did for us was that after reading the book and realizing the new word, we had to go to the dictionary and ask ourselves, what is the meaning of this new word? At the end of the day, I became a better speaker. I became more informed. I had an understanding of the meaning of several words. Take, for example, I'm not here to entertain you. If not, I would have been grandiloquent while I'm speaking to you. Now, I just used the word grandiloquent. Anybody can you tell me what's the meaning of the word grandiloquent? Anyone? Anyone wants to try? No? Sorry? No? Yes? Sorry? No. Yes? No. So now that's an assignment for all. You want to try? Yes? Sorry? Speaking in a not too serious manner? No, that's not what it means. Okay, yes? Trying to make a word sound big. You are very close, but that's not it, but you're close. One more person, and then I'll tell you what it means. Yes? Just say it, whichever way, just say it. Trying to exaggerate? No. Okay, so here's the meaning of the word grandiloquent. When you're trying to sound, when you're trying to use too many big words, you're speaking and you're trying to sound flowery. You want people to believe that you're a great speaker. So an example of someone who is popular in this country and is grandiloquent is Honorable Patrick Obayagbon. When he speaks, he would use so many big words and you can barely pick some of the things that he's saying. Now, I'll give you another word. One of the disadvantages, I'm making a statement now, and I'll ask you to go and look for the meaning of the word. One of the disadvantages of being grandiloquent is that you might leave your audience discombobulated. What's the meaning of discombobulated? Confused. Do you understand? So you get the picture right now, don't you? So one of the things that happens to you when you're a regular reader is that you see new words. And as you see new words, you'll find out what the meaning of the words are. And when people are speaking, you are not lost. You are able to understand what they're saying. Don't forget that you are not preparing to be a local champion. Is there anyone here preparing to be a local champion? You all want to be global players, right? And for you to be a global player, one of the key things is reading. And as you read, you will discover new words. So as I was saying, extensive reading was a very powerful tool that helped me to identify new words. I found out their meaning, and it got to a stage in my school back then that a number of my classmates did not go back to the dictionary to check the meaning of a new word. When they wanted to check the meaning of a new word, guess who they came to? Me. And that's because I spent time trying to read the meaning of words, trying to understand them. So it's very, very important that you become a reader. First of all, so that you can understand much more than your contemporaries. And secondly, so that you can learn new words. The other thing you need to note is that the information that will improve your life is in books. Is in what? Say it loudly. Is in what? In another 10 years' time, they say that there are two things that will differentiate you. And one of them will be the books you read. And second one is the people whose company that you're keeping. So you want to become a better person outside of your academics, outside of physics, chemistry, biology, outside of just reading government, history, literature, and they are fantastic. In fact, how many literature students do we have here? Where are the literature students? Fantastic guys, because you guys read a lot of books already, and I hope you're doing well with those books. Now, one of the things that would do for you is it would definitely challenge your thinking. It will do what? Come on, I thought everybody was with me. It will challenge your thinking. So you don't think like an average person. You become you can increase your IQ. So you want to be more informed? Read. You want to speak better? Read. You want your IQ to be challenged? What do you do again? Read. So it's very, very important that you read. I've seen people years ago, I've seen people who didn't even make it to the university. For example, some of our grandparents did not have the opportunity of going to universities. But when you heard them speak, you would see how fluent they were. And you wonder how come they were this fluent, seeing that they didn't even go to the university. One of the things that helped them was that in their time and in their days, there was a better reading culture. They read a lot of books. They read beyond the scope of their curriculum. So outside of school today, it's not time to go TikToking. Do you know the difference between who's going to be on television tomorrow and who's going to keep watching TikTok? Do you know the difference? Reading. So if you want to be the one who is being watched on television, you want to become the one who is being watched on YouTube, you want to become the one who is being watched on TikTok, what do you do? What do you do? Now, every one of you, say with me, from today. Say it loudly, from today. I'm going to read like my life depends on it. I'm going to be better because I'm going to read. When I read, I become better. I become more informed. I can stand in front of presidents and tell them what they didn't even know. Say it again. I can stand in front of presidents and tell them what they didn't even know. Because of that, I'm going to read. And I will read voraciously. Say it again. I will read voraciously. Do you know what it means to read voraciously? What does it mean? To read voraciously. What does that mean? Sorry? Add extra effort, yeah. To read more extensively. So when you're a voracious reader, you're somebody who reads a lot. I can't tell you the importance of reading enough, and I can't overemphasize it. So make sure that beyond just your academics, you are reading something. After a while, you need to streamline what you're reading, but for now, just keep reading. Anything that improves your vocabulary, anything that makes you a better person, anything that makes you a better speaker. In my school, I was also a debater, and I represented my school in quite a number of debates around the region. I went to a school called Mayflower School in Ikene, and if you know my school those days, we were like the talk of the town. So each time we're going out for a competition, they will pick the best and the most informed students. I remember because we used to do elections. I don't know how you select your prefects here, but back then in my school, we will conduct elections. Prefects were to buy nomination forms. I still remember buying my nomination form for 100 naira. So you buy your nomination form. A week later, you appear before the most senior teachers and they will screen you. Your file is in front of you. By now, you should be in SS2 or SS3 when you're doing your exam. I think you've changed it. Do you still call it SS2 and 3? What do you call it now? Sorry? Year 11 and 12. So you are in year 11 and 12, but in those days, we call it SS2 and SS3. So your teachers, who are the most senior teachers in the school, will bring out your file, check if you've been a good student from year 7, and then they check all your records. Then the next thing is they start asking you questions. Guess one of the questions they asked me in those days? When it was my turn, after asking us all the questions about our behaviors, about current affairs, next thing, they just asked me, what is the full date of birth of President Olusegun Obasanjo? At the time, President Olusegun Obasanjo was the president. And because I was a voracious reader, I was the only one who got the answer. And when I started my manifesto, because we would then go from screening to campaign, we would go from class to class and campaign, and also deliver a manifesto to the students. Now imagine me being a teenager delivering a manifesto to, my school had over 4,000 students. Yep. Over 4,000 students. So imagine me standing in front of 4,000 students. I've been standing in front of crowds since I was a teenager. So in addition to reading, how do you even stand in front of a crowd if you don't know what to say? And how do you know what to say if you don't read? So one of the reasons I was very confident, even as a teenager, to stand in front of over 4,000 students on a daily basis is because I was a reader. And I'm still a reader. So it's easy for me to come and stand in front of them, speak eloquently, and I would not be confused. Now back to my speech. I won that screening exercise for becoming the senior prefect of the school because I was a reader and I had an information that every other person did not have. Finally, let me conclude with an illustration. Can I have 5 students come out quickly? Just 5 of you. Just come out randomly. Just 5. Come out randomly. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Now, come this way. Come this way. Come this way. I need one more person. Now, yes, just all of you just stand. Come and stand here. Now face that way. Face that way. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, all of you close your eyes. I want to show you something. All of you close your eyes. Just close your eyes. But hold your hands. Hold each other's or one another's hands. Good. Now, you alone, just you, open your head, open your eyes. The rest, close your eyes. Yes, just you. Now, just watch out. Go ahead. Your eyes remain closed. Can you see what's happening? Can you see what's happening? No, just look at them. Now wait, thank you. Please go and sit down. Now I've achieved what I wanted to. You can open your eyes. Thank you. So please, a round of applause for them. Go and sit down. Go and sit down. Now, what did you observe? Someone who had his eyes open was trying to lead them. I gave him an instruction to lead all the others to the door. But because he's the only one whose eyes were opened, he knew where to go. But it was difficult for him to lead all of them. If all the 4 others had their eyes open, will it be difficult for them to follow him? But because they didn't have their eyes opened, they couldn't follow him. He knew where to go. He wanted to lead them, but they were difficult to lead. Now, think about the person whose eyes were open as the one who reads. All the others whose eyes were not opened were the ones who don't read. When you read, you become a leader. Unfortunately, if you are surrounded by people who don't read, it becomes difficult.